Alright guys, here's the dual conversion I did on this old Anet A8. I had to change everything. Had to put a different control board on it so I can handle the two nozzles. And then I put a different screen on it because the control board, I was having issues with the old screen, so I just upgrade the screen anyways. And then I designed and made this this carriage for the dual direct drive extruders. You know, I just made a little spot for them both, you know, and made some holes in the bottom, and you know, it all worked great. I just printed this piece right here, and even though I don't have a fan yet, this one I didn't even have anything made for it yet, it still turned out really good. I mean, kind of bowed up in this one little corner for some reason. I don't know if you can see that, but either way, yeah, it worked good. I've got it all set up to do dual extrusion. But the problem was that this is just a little too much up and down flex. And because I got this big wad of wires, which is pretty stiff, I was having a problem of as it went from side to side, the wires would pull up on it as it got to the side, and let go of it as it got away from the side, so it would make it like a U shape as it went across side to side. So I was like, well, I gotta do something, because these stiff wires are pulling on it too much, and it's got too much play, because it's just an L. I just made an L-shaped deal, you know. I made this, and it connects to this bucket that holds the extruders. So that's what I printed this for. This, if you notice these two missing screws up there, and that's what these holes are for. So this bracket is going to go onto here, and I'm going to drill some holes and screw this to here. And this sticks out to the side to hold the fan, for the fan to bolt to. But yeah, this is going to brace it to the top, brace the front of this carriage to the top also, and hopefully get rid of this little bit of flex. And once this is on top like this, I'm going to undo all these wires again, and I'm going to run this wire up across the top of this, and then I'm going to zip tie the wire to this bracket closest to this end, and I'm going to try to run the wires out back here. And I'm going to reroute all that wiring and do it in such a way to where the pressure for the wiring doesn't pull up and down on the extruder carriage. That's the problem, you know. These wires, they pull up and down. When it goes across, it'll pull it up because they get kind of tight. And it's a big thick thing of wires, so it doesn't have much flex. So putting this bracket on will hold it a little more solid, and rerouting the wires to make them not affect it will also help. So yeah, this is a thing I designed from scratch, and it's working. It actually printed this piece, and it did pretty good. This is like the first thing, you know. I didn't like sit there and fine tune it or anything yet. I've been having so many problems with bed leveling because the wires were pulling up and down by, you know, just like well, 10 thousandths. I just use a feeler gauge, and that's about how much it pulled it up and down, which is too much, you know. But yeah, I got my dual extruder conversion done. Designed it. I didn't even really look at anybody else's stuff. I just sat there and thought about it and designed what I thought should happen. And you know, these fit in here nice and snug. I designed it pretty good the first time. I didn't have to redo it. And I mean, these fit in here snug. And there's just enough room for them to get air through their fans. And it works out pretty damn good. Besides that little bit of up and down flex, because it's just an L shape. So that's what the bracket's for, and moving the wiring's for. But you know, I put all this effort into this, but I wouldn't recommend doing this dual conversion. It's just too much. You know, I had to buy like a $50 control board. I ended up buying this. You know, $26 for a second extruder. And then what you don't realize is all the connector ends at the ends of all the wires are going to be wrong. So then you've got to buy the kits, the connector end kits. And then they don't just use one pin pitch connector. They use the 2 millimeter pin pitch, and they also use the 2.4 or whatever. They use 2 different pin pitches, so you gotta buy 2 different kits of end connectors to get everything wired up. Well, I use the GTech GT2560 control board, which I really like. It's real good quality looking setup board. It's just all the ends, all the connectors on the ends of every wire had to be changed, and it was just a nightmare. And by the time it's all said and done, with the effort I put in and the money I spent on parts, I seen I think his G-Tech has a dual extruder printer on eBay for like 180 something. If I had to do it all over again, I would just buy that and not do the conversion. But yeah, this is it's working. This is the first good print from it. So if I put this bracket on there, rewire it a little bit, it'll be even more perfect. And I'll be able to do some good dual extrusion. I got the water soluble for filament for what do you call that? The structural overhang, whatever, you know, whatever that's called. You know what I'm trying to say, but so I can dissolve it away and stuff, because I was having problems with, well, let me see if I can find it here. This is I 3D scanned this actual deer mount, but I was having problems because the supports, they're just too hard, and I could not get the supports off without breaking the antlers. The antlers are too delicate and the supports stick too good. So that's the whole point of switching to a dual extruder, so I can use the water soluble supports, filament supports. So yeah, that's it. Seems to be working good now, but like I said, you know, from the time and effort and money I put into it, might as well just buy a dual extruder, you know, be honest. Alright, later guys.